Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back indeed. It's a Monday. It is a Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. I hope you will have a beautiful Monday, a beautiful week to be nice. Now, get more comfortable because today we're starting a new phase in the writing of the book, and it's called the editing phase. And apparently, the writers are calling it the editing hell, in which your story is supposed to be, say, corrected so it would have an actual meaning, where all the details you've written in the first stage of writing, when you've written your first draft, when all those stories need to be connected, need to be polished a little bit, start to be polished a little bit, because the editing phase takes 2 or 3 times, sometimes maybe even 10 times if you are very perfectionist. And it's gonna be a wild ride. It's gonna be a wild ride indeed. I did want to just make the stream 3 times a week, but the past week I've taken a break for celebrate a little the finishing of the first draft. But now it's time to get back on the writing horse, on the editing horse, on the book horse, to be more precisely, because if you start to get pretty easy on yourself in this period, you do risk missing the train. Do I want to say? I want to say not missing the train, missing the vibe, missing the push up, and missing all the excitement. And I don't want to do that. So I will do the streams Monday to Friday again, in which I edit. I think I will still edit this book online, like you can see me changing the words, but I will do it into streams, during streams. I will also need to do a couple of research before starting. So the first 2 or 3 days that we're gonna do the stream until Wednesday, I'm just gonna research what times do I want my story to have, what approach should I have. Story, like, do I will I have the passive, will I have the active type of writing, even though I think I'm gonna be a third person past. I think past participle. Yeah, I need to do a little more research on how I'm going to approach this book. Besides these introductory chapters for our characters, we're gonna need to have just one complete flow, let's say. One complete, not complete, one stable flow, one stable time, so we understand who's talking and what's happening there. I would have to research a bit also on the show and tell part. Even though there's a lot of telling, I do need a lot of showing also, because I don't think I've described things that are happening too much, so the reader would be immersed in what's going on how the characters feel, how they why they respond in the certain ways they do. and we're gonna see. I will not. I've been doing a lot of research recently, and I don't think my book will have a lot of show because there is a lot of tell. There are a lot of stories. There are a lot of hidden stories in the story. So there is a lot of telling, and there should be a kind of understanding, I think, from the reader that those things mean something. And I hope I'm gonna do those things without having to describe every situation, without showing, because that need these things need some knowledge, and just the surface level of knowledge about the things I'm saying. So, how have you been? How is your day? How are you prepared for this week? Because it's been raining for 2 weeks here, and my excitement, it's very, very, I don't want to say it's low, but it's hard to get on the productive horse and ride along, because I'm really not a fan of this weather. I tell you, if I've been living in Norway, I think I've been assassinating myself a long, long while ago. I don't know, but yeah, I do need sun. I do need sun, and it's been raining for a couple of weeks now, every day. Monday was the first day that the last day. Last Monday was the last day that it was sunny, and I got a little tan. I went up the balcony, not the balcony, up the building. I have access to the building, last floor. I live on the last floor, so above me it's where I have the access to do it. I've put a mattress there, stood there for 15 minutes, and that was the last part of sun I saw, because after 15 minutes a storm came. So yeah, that was awesome. Let's see, is the sound okay? It should be alright. Let me just do a quick test so I could be sure that the sound is also okay. Alright, I should be here. Yeah, it is. It is okay. It is okay. I'm glad. Well, it sounds nice. And yeah, it's I've been thinking a lot about how to approach this editing phase, and there are a lot of ways to do it, and I'll just do it as I always do it, and I'll learn doing it. But first I'll just prepare a little. So if you want to be productive, we're gonna do some sprints. Sprints are awesome. Gonna do like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And during those times, everybody that needs to be productive does what they need to be productive, because you all know that these streams lost a lot. So there's no issue if you can't watch it. You can just mute the video and leave it on the background. It will help me a lot. And I think this is most of the things that we need to focus on. And yeah. Ooh. It's good to be here again. It's good to be on the writing course again. Last week I've been I've been productive during the streams, but outside the streams I was not productive at all, and I'm getting excited to be productive again. Things are changing awesomely, And there's a lot of resistance I'm encountering because, as always, when you're doing things right, there will be resistance if you are if you feel a little, if you let yourself go too much. There is a lot of, let's say, not urges necessarily. There are a lot of things that start happening so good that you forget that you're still doing something. You started doing something, you dedicated your time to something, you've done a contract with the devil to do some things, and you can easily just slip off into complacency. I think that's the word. When you enjoy where you are at the moment and forget things that you want to do. Those are the things I need to be very careful of. Anyone should be careful of those things all the time. Because, yeah, you can easily slip off and never finish your book, never finish your project, never finish anything, and then just be, let's say, frustrated deep inside because you know you had the time, you know you had the possibility, you know you had anything, and you slipped off because something nice happened and you just wanted it to last forever. But during those times, the little things will just chew at you, and that's not the way to go into life, at least in my opinion. It is no, it is okay to enjoy yourself. It is okay to enjoy the life you're having, as long as you know you're not putting something aside that you don't want to put aside. As I am recently, I've been having a lot of going outside. I've been having some parties. For example, Saturday there was some of the restriction went out, and we were allowed to go in a public place and drink. And we celebrated a friend's birthday, and happy birthday, by the way. And we drank until 6 in the morning. It was a pretty awesome day. Being around with friends is not drinking, because there was some drinking, but not exaggerated one, but enough to just have fun. You're meeting humans, seeing humans. Hopefully I didn't get anything, and by the looks of it, by how I feel, I didn't get anything except the laziness, which I am now fighting it again. Not fighting it. I've prepared the steps to annihilate it. And it's not a fight. It's not like it has a chance. I mean, annihilating. Pure and simple. And let's see what happened last week in science, because I've been watching. I'm on some Facebook groups, and I do enjoy some silence, some not silence. I do enjoy silence also from now and then, but I do enjoy science. I do enjoy at least the titles. I'm not very much the person to believe anything. I'm very skeptical of everything, but I do enjoy reading some good headlines, some good description of things that makes you think we're actually doing stuff. I I'm I'm a sucker for clickbait, to be honest. So I'm gonna read a couple of things. Actually, I don't know if you will see this arranged properly. So let's see. Uh, decent, decent. I should actually I will download it. I will download the image and I will show it to you. And then and then we will start some actual writing, some actual editing, some actual studying. Let's rename it science ish. Okay, let's add the source right here. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't think of this, but I just saw it before the stream, so I figured out I'll do it now. I just wanted to read from it, but if we're gonna do some, where is the download? Not this download. Also the song you've heard. All right, so no, I think I did the wrong thing. Also, the song that you listened in the beginning is called Heaven and Hell. Again, a good thing to start the day with, because it's a difference between, not a difference, just a few seconds. I'm very concentrating on seeing science thing. Where is science? Ooh, but I just downloaded it. Where did I download it? It's in browser downloads, yes? Yes. Oh yeah, here it is. Couldn't see it, so done. Let's read a little bit about it. So people with blood type O are less likely to test positive for COVID-19, large study shows. Well, I think the blood type O is the good one, right? The awesome one, the one that quite doesn't, that can give to anyone and can only receive from the same blood type. The one that's pretty good as a blood type, the one that's very helpful, and the one that doctors need the most, that hospitals need the most. And if you have that blood type and you can donate, I do suggest you do. It helps a lot of people and it helps you know that you've helped other people. So it's a good thing to have. They usually give you time off from work to do that, in case you didn't know. So yeah, that's pretty good. Wearing face masks in public is needed to prevent the second wave of COVID-19. New research shows. Oh, I said the name. Oh, I said the name, and now I hope this stream won't be flagged. I hope the stream won't be flagged. The Cotru 20 virus, as I like to call it in my book. So wearing face masks in public is needed to prevent the second wave. Well, I think it's already starting, so I do suggest you to get some of those, at least not in public, but in places where there's a lot of people. I would suggest you do some precaution. Use some precaution, because it's still out there. Even if the lockdowns are lifting off, things are still uncertain. And don't get me wrong, some scientists might know what they say and some don't, but never forget we're all human and we all have a right to think logically, think about what's happening, and take measures about what's happening. We're all adults here, more or less, and the scientists don't know everything. They don't know how well. They do know how annoying it is to wear a mask like everywhere, wear a costume everywhere, because at the beginning of this thing, masks were pretty hard to find, but now the supply chain has been restored, so we should be able to find some good masks everywhere, and we don't need unnecessary going outs like we used to. At least this year, there is no reason for us to just go out to not stay in the house. You can go out and go in non-populated areas. That would be awesome. And we're gonna wait and see what happens with the second wave. We're gonna wait to see. It's again New Zealand. New Zealand, don't forget, they don't have any new cases, so they are pretty awesome. But again, New Zealand doesn't have the mentality some of us have. Some of them are not poor, some of them don't believe. I think most of them don't believe the 5G thing, that for some reason, I don't know how it got there, but they don't like the 5G. Now, a thing to think about, again, let's continue. Repetitive negative thinking is associated with increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline, new study shows. So apparently, yeah, repetitive negative thinking, which is horrible to begin with, and it's a very, very hard thing to get out of. Not be used, not be done. And let me just read about it also. Negative thinking. They do have. I think they do have a link here for this, so we're gonna research it a bit more. Right. So yeah, there's a whole. Oh, I think I should do a read on this. You know what? Maybe I will. I will link it into my stream right now. The whole page, so you can see the studies done and how they worked, how those studies showed, not just using studies fine and people believing it. So we will have some good sources, because as always, you do need the sources to take a proper decision. You do need sources. How do I link it? All right, edit. All right, science stuff link. It is a Facebook post, but you can see they have it linked over there. It should be alright now. I think if you press an F5, meaning you're refreshing your page, you're gonna be... Ooh, my head is reddish. Wonder why. Now it got back to normal. You should be able to see the links there and how they did it. But I do believe repetitive negative thinking can provoke Alzheimer's. I don't know what the study says, and I will read it. I will try to read it and understand it. But I can see how it could link by having the negative thoughts, because when you're having negative thoughts, when you're having negative situation, you always remember them. You always remember them. And you always remember those, even though the situation has changed completely throughout the years. You will always remember them as you remember them, with anger, with frustration. And throughout the years, if you have only those thoughts, you will always get back there and forget how things have changed, how things have probably improved, how times are now, and the beauty of the new things, which is why I do. No, I didn't know it was for Alzheimer's. I just do it because I am afraid of having those thoughts throughout my life, having those bad memories every time I'm thinking about stuff, bad negative memories, which is why I'm doing positive things. If they're not positive, at least they're benign. I'm not easily angry, because anger does need a lot of passion to be built. So if there is something to be angry about, is for the things I didn't do or for the things I did. But mostly, if I know I'm angry that I didn't do that thing, or I do that thing, then I'm starting to do those things. That's why I've started streaming again Monday to Friday, and I will update the cover again, and that's what I do. I think this is gonna be the science hour, and then we're gonna start the sprints. So again, the new one is scientists convert skin cells directly into photoreceptors, which could potentially treat macular degeneration. Oh. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. Let me just see the photoreceptors thing. So I'm gonna read from massivecsi.com. No, SCI, sci-fi. It comes from sci-fi. Okay, the eye is one of the most complicated. Actually, I'm gonna put it here, and let's see what that thing says, what that study says, because it's very important. I am pretty interested in the skin, in the eyes. I do want to know how to improve them. I know if you have lazy eyes, usually it's better to do some lazy eye exercises. They are on YouTube. They're very simple. You just use 20 minutes a day, and you just watch a ball move around, because your eyes do some exercises, and they do some stretching, and the muscles of the eyes get better, and they help. No. Okay, can I? Not interested. Perfectly. So apparently the eye is one of the most complicated organs of the human body. It is indeed at the heart of This visual system is the retina, a complex mix of cells and layers that allow the eye to capture every detail in our field of vision. And wisdom also. Seeing things can also be wisdom provoking, but seeing it not literally, but seeing things as they are spiritually, let's call it. Okay, damage to the retina can have serious consequences and lead to retinal diseases. Even cutting-edge medicine like cell therapy can be laborious and consume time that patients don't have. For this reason, scientists at the North Texas Eye Research Institute came up with an easy and quick way to repair the retina damaged in eye diseases by using just a handful of chemicals to generate cells that can restore visual function. What? That's awesome. We would need more tests on that, I presume. But that means that we can use substances to improve our vision. A common cause of vision loss in people over 60 is macular degeneration, where light-sensing cells in the retina, called photoreceptors, degrade. Historically, doctors have tried to treat retinal diseases with medication or laser surgery. Recently, though, scientists developed stem cell therapy, the process of replacing lost or damaged cells with new, healthy ones. To replenish these cells, scientists change cells from one type to another using specific proteins called Yamanaka factors. I see. Our technique goes from skin cell to photoreceptor without the need for stem cells in between. Okay, so revolutionize the field of stem cell therapy. They can reprogram or turn cells that are already specialized, such as heart cells or immune cells, back into general type called pluripotent stem cells. These can then turn and transform into different type of cells, including the photoreceptors lost in the eye. Okay. Skin is a common source for cells to be reprogrammed, but it usually takes 25 days to convert them into stem cells. It takes 65 to 70 more days to turn them into photoreceptors and get them ready for cell therapy. Okay, Institute has sidestepped these complications. They published their study led by postdoctoral scholar Biraj Mahato in Nature. They used chemicals called small molecule drugs to generate photoreception directly from kill cells called fibroblasts, skipping that tricky reprogramming step. That's nice. So usually, you know, stem cells are a pretty taboo science. It's research. Let's call it research. Even in this day and age, it's pretty mind-boggling. The fact that some countries, or most of the countries, still have stem cell research banned because of religious reasons, because of, you know, usually they create new cells from old cells, and some people believe that those cells already have a soul, and that's just stepping on every god possible, and it's pretty weird, even though stem cell research does provide with a lot of advancements in biology and treating things and recreating things, because at some point you don't the main concern is that at some point you don't know when it is ethical to stop. You don't know the moment it is ethical to stop. When will scientists stop? And this still raises a lot of questions, which is why it's still banned in certain countries. Even though small scale STEM researches should be done. People do believe that such advancements would be made that you could recreate another person and use it as a, I don't know, slave, I think. That's on the fringes. That's the same place as the 5G conspiracies and everything, and the flat earth. But it is still out there. And that's why I'm so against these what do you call cults of stupidity, because they say that how does this affect you that I'm believing this? Well, it affects me because you're not willing to accept some laws, and because of your gods, some laws prevent actual breakthroughs from happening. And I think this is what they did here. They did sidetrack the creation of the stem cells, and they just added some chemicals that react with AI in such a way that they create they generate photoreceptors directly from the skin cells. That's very nice. They tested the candidate. Okay, so they tested the candidate small molecule drugs, both individually and in combination with each other. Molecules are compounds tiny enough to slip into cells. Oh, that's awesome. They're membranes, and they can manipulate cells in a variety of different ways. They found that all 5 molecules together were most effective at turning the skin cells into cells that act like photoreceptors. But how similar were the photoreceptor-like cells? The real deal? To answer this, they looked at what genes these new cells activated. Likely called its transcriptome, since these are important part of cell's identity. The transcriptome of the chemically generated photoreceptors was similar to that of their normal counterparts. But stem cell therapy is a delicate process, and the path towards restoring vision is full of obstacles. Not only do the cells have to survive the transplant, into the new environment, but they also have to make connections with the appropriate targets and begin to function again as a photoreceptor cell. So that's like the real transplant, but this is on a cellular level, on a molecular level. When you have a transplant, and even though the blood type is okay and the dimensions of a certain organ, sometimes the body just doesn't accept the new rhythm, the new skin, the new part of the body that just appeared. And it's very sad that this happened, but this is reality, and hopefully they will manage to transform it in such a way that it will be easier to do, it will be accepted, especially since modern medicine is on its way to be destroyed. Yo 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 Rezvan, yo yo. As we've done so many antibiotics without properly taking them, without a peace of mind, as doctors prescribe them at everything, and some of these treatments were not done perfectly enough to just destroy the whole cell, destroy the whole, you know, bad cell, bad viruses or whatever the antibiotic was prescribed for, creating a new wave of stronger cells that can resist the antibiotics the next time. So the more you don't use the antibiotics completely or perfectly, the more stronger diseases will become, until there will be a point where even transplants won't be possible, because you do need antibiotics to fight the infections, and it's going to be a new, until then we have to figure out a new way to do these things without the use of antibiotics, and stem cells seems to be the best option we have until now. Okay, not okay. The real test was said is the test planted. Okay. Long way. All right, but you have the links if you want to learn more about this. This is the timer I have set on. Let's see what else happened. What else happened? Underwater Wi-Fi using LEDs in lasers. It could enable divers to instantly transmit data to the surface. That's nice. Because of course we do have fiber optic internet. That's the one that uses light through the cables, and that increases the speed of the internet cable. And usually underwater, that was the problem with the Wi-Fi, because you don't get the light, you don't get the vibrations of, not the vibration, the wave. You cannot catch that wave because it changes underwater. I don't know if you can use Wi-Fi if you're very, very deep. Probably at the pool you can use it, but if your phone is resistance, but deep down you can't anymore, as the sun doesn't get down. How can the Wi-Fi go down? So it's an amazing thing with LEDs and lasers. Okay, we will have Wi-Fi deep down. You can live stream your diving. How awesome is that? You will just go, and I think we will see a lot of that. Well, hopefully we will live to see it, but imagine, just imagine wanting to see how diving is, or wanting to see some fish, but not through recordings, not things that you are having to see from someone. You will just see live streamed divings. Like someone will have a phone and will read, and somebody's gonna super chat you, and they will like, go pet that fish, go pet that rock, go into that coral. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. It's It's gonna be a new thing. And divers will get paid better. They're creating jobs. How awesome is the future if you're focusing on science? Well, not really science, on progress, on real progress, not what the progressive left is doing. They're focusing on feelings, on inaccurate data, and inaccurate feelings to that data. And we're not gonna talk about that again because we're gonna talk about science. We do love some science. Yes, I touched my nose. See? It's gonna be a nice life. Catch that fish. Go deeper. That's what she said. You know that Naruto sad song when she said go deeper. I shall soon. I have 10 more minutes. Or are you talking about touching my face? No, I'm completely very good. Very satisfied. So astronomers discover a mysterious radio burst coming from deep space, which repeats every 157 days. Whoa. That's awesome. That is awesome. But it's hard, it's disheartening because you never know how that will turn out, because my heart has been broken too many times at the thought of intelligent life being somewhere. But yeah, maybe now even that, maybe those radio bursts might be just some natural occurrence in that uh, planet's life, let's say, in that planet's feeling. Maybe they just, I don't know how they work properly, but maybe they have a lot of earthquakes that somehow are sent to a piece of metal that provokes radio waves. Who knows? The radio waves are weird, and we do need more research. Okay, let's see. Okay, researchers have detected a previously unknown massive structure wrapped around the Earth core. So, what does that mean? I think they discovered another layer, probably. Let me just see. Blobs of hot, dense material that occurred around Earth's core are much more widespread than previous research suggests. Found even more previously detected continent-sized zones that are boundary between the planet's core and mantle. More complete. Okay, so there's something between the core and the mantle. Okay, so a new method of analyzing earthquake data has found even more of the previously detected continent-sized zones at the boundary between planets' core and mantle. We still don't know what these blobs are. They could be magma, molten iron, or leaking from the core, or something else. But with a more complete, detailed map of where they are, we can better understand the geological processes occurring deep inside Earth's interior. Oh, just so you know, we don't know everything about Earth. And we do have a lot of things to do. So, physicists have successfully reversed time on the smallest scale using a quantum computer. Oh, that's awesome. Quantum computers are gonna be amazing. We still have just the bones, let's say, the bones of quantum computer. We don't really have a true quantum computer, what you're thinking of. And it's gonna do amazing things at a quantum level. And I think they reversed time. They did, like, they managed to do a test in which the computers managed to reverse time for a molecule. And soon they will be, the more power they will have, the more information we're gonna have, and the more awesome the planet's gonna be, or the more people are gonna be terrified by AI and the power of the computers, as having one of those can quite possibly just shift the power between the countries, the power level, and it's gonna be a huge debate. There are gonna be a lot of debates. They are already having a lot of debates of who can wield, who should have, and what should you do with a quantum computer, because it could use that full potential. There are some problems. It could provoke some wars just to increase the economy of a country. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. If you don't have, because if every country has it, then it is possible to overdo it. It's gonna be like a cold future war. You're having a war now based on the war of the future, and it's gonna be weird. We're just beginning. If we survive these things, it's just the beginning of how awesome things can be if we don't kill each other by then. That's one of the things. So, gonna restart being productive. I think we did. I talked too much about science for now, and we're gonna start with 10-minute sprint from Dalcicil Runo, of course. I do like her timers. Ooh, no, not this. Let me just prepare it here. Window cap. I think I'm gonna just use it full screen. No? Gonna use it full screen. Gonna do some things here. What is that? Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna prepare it to this is what I want to. Okay. So, I'm gonna mute my microphone and we're gonna watch Gonna have this on, and we're gonna write until we timer ends, and we're gonna talk about what we did, what happened, and everything else. And yeah. Come on, let me perfectly. Oh, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. Okay, I think we're gonna do it like this. And let's start in 3, 2, 1, print. Kaboom! We did it. We did it. The 10 minutes have passed, and in these 10 minutes, did you do something productive or not? I did manage to read a little bit about the time, which I will read to you right now in case you are wondering, and I'm gonna use this as an excerpt, a small piece where I can put it in the video. Now, since I started streaming, there was a rain that I forgot to notice because I was into streaming, into the science. I did notice it was raining, but apparently it rained a lot, and my there's water at my floor, and I had to mop it down. So yeah, that's how I use my sprint. I read about the time you need to, not about the time. This was more on when should you describe the time, what you should describe when starting a story. I will read it to you very, very soon. As soon as I can get to the site. Let me just find it out. All right, should be it. Let's see if I can put it right here, and we'll do some reading about it. I should make a separate one. I think that's what I'll do right now. I'll do one from where we read, from when we read an article, for example, and one for the timers. So let's read from freelancewriting.com. Let's read what they have to say about this. So, the time element in telling a story. Your first goal in telling a story is to give the time of its happening. The time anchors your story in place, and starting from this anchor, you weave the chain of events that follows. The opening sentence or paragraph also might locate the events geographically, and in logical order, answer 4 questions already in the mind of the reader. Who, what, when, where. Of course, that's what you have to do if you have a story to write. It's important to describe the who, the 4 W's, the who, what, when, the who, what, when, where. But let's continue reading. The overview, why the time element is important. The overused way of beginning a child's story provides a good example. Once upon a time, in a magnificent castle, there lived a beautiful princess who was very lonely. The opening paragraph answers all 4 questions in precise order. The reader knows that the story will continue to tell us what happened to the break, to the loneliness of the lovely princess. Yes, indeed, it says the time when, it's once upon a time, where, in a magnificent castle, what, a beautiful princess lived there, and another what, it was it's a who was very lonely. Who was the lonely? The princess. It's kind of beautifully made here for children, I mean. It doesn't matter if you are writing a novel or a sentence or any form of writing between the two. The reader is lost at sea until you have revealed the who, what, when, and where to anchor the story in place. Indeed, it is important to describe everything, and I know I haven't done it that way, but I'm confident in what I'll do. As a skilled writer, you can, for whatever reason, conquer and evade the rules of writing and choose to lead your readers through an interesting labyrinth of storylines before you answer these four questions. If you choose not to reveal the element of time in the opening paragraphs, it must follow soon after. So yeah, if you do not start with the time, with the where, if you do not want to do that in Anchor It, you start with a different what, but eventually the time needs to come as soon as possible for the reader to understand what actually is going on and where is it going on. And I know that that's one of the things I must do in this book. Perfectly describe where and when. It's still young. What are some examples of time in stories? All right, let's have some examples for writing in stories. Let's take a few novels at random and quote the opening words. When Jennifer was 15 years old. Okay, so we know that happened in the past when Jennifer had 15 years old, and we already know that it's in the past and it's about Jennifer, and something happened around that age. 10 years after the Gulf War, my brother was still having nightmares. So we knew that the Gulf War happened. That's the what. Yeah, the what, the time, because now we're 10 years later. And my brother, it's the who. And the what was still having nightmares. The where is more. It's very tricky to take the the where, but it's not always necessarily, in my opinion. Because sometimes it might happen in places that do not have any relevance, and sometimes they might happen in places where the reader thinks has some relevance, but it has relevance only after a few pages. It's weird, and that's why you need to be skilled, you need to be creative. And let's see what else. Let's take another one. Rome had passed the summits and stood looking into the dark valley of 1400 years. Okay, so we're talking about Rome, about what did it do, uh, what was it doing. They were looking into the dark valley of 1400 years, probably past. What happened 1400 years ago that Rome was having to deal with every time, unconsciously or consciously, but at some point they had to do it. So let's try some popular novels by relevant authors and read a few first-liners. The sun shone, having an alternative on nothing new. Samuel Beckett. Okay, so the sun shone, having no alternative on nothing new. It's pretty interesting actually. The first sentence, it gets you. And also, shown apparently is the past. I think it's the past. Shown. The past participle of shine. That's nice. We're learning things. The year that Buttercup was born, the most beautiful woman in the world was a French scullery maid named Annette. William Goldman. So we have here the time, the who, Buttercup was born. The what is that the most beautiful in the world was born. And I don't think we have the where. We have, I think in the world, yeah. When? In the year that Buttercup was born. Where? Everywhere around the world. The most beautiful girl was named Annette. Maid, French scholarly maid, woman. Alright, so in English composition books, you can find one or two of the paragraphs used as models. They begin as follows. I saw an old friend this morning, and noon we came. Years afterwards, Robinson was eating dinner, etc. In a sentence by itself, you should provide the word, or words indicating time. To add variety, unity, and thought. You can sometimes break this rule, which I'm doing because I'm the biggest writer. In case you didn't know, I'm the chaddest writer, so I am breaking that rule a little bit because it, as you probably know, it starts with a dream, and dreams are still very important here. Starts with a dream, and time is different in dream world. But I did write about the time that it's happening afterwards. I still do need to, I think I'll do a prologue about Earth 2 or Terra, what's it called, in which things happen. Almost the same as we in our time, but different with magic. Let's see. What else can we read about stories? Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna do this for the next 15 minutes. I'm gonna read from Wiki about the list of narrative techniques, and hopefully I will get something through my skull about how to do it. And in the last sprint, I will start editing a little bit if I manage to get some good knowledge that I want to implement right away. So should we do another one? Should we do 15-minute one? I think we can. We're gonna start like pretty soon. Just as soon as I add another media source, window capture, and we're gonna call it timers to be properly. Let's here. Windows type match. Okay, this should be it. I'm gonna put it like boo mini player, boo theater mode. Yeah, we're gonna put it like this. So people who will see it will know how to find it. YouTube. So we're gonna start. I think we're gonna start now. Just let me find the 15-minute one. And we're gonna start and we're gonna have a 15-minute sprint. I'm gonna start reading more. Just okay, it's perfect. I can watch a different window and read about it. So I'll see you guys in 15 minutes and we're gonna start and talk a little bit about what I learned. Maybe I can describe what I did. So without further ado, we have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, print. Done. Where is the thing so you can see my weird position? Ooh. Come on. Is this it? No. Where did I put it? The window capture. I forgot to rename it. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, it's here. Here. Probably. Here is the place. Ooh, so yeah, I've been sitting in my reading position. And by reading position, I mean when I'm just laying on my back and looking at the TV directly, which I have here. It's a huge monitor from which I read, so I won't just stay at the laptop and do the thing. But yeah, I've been reading through the narrative techniques. I managed to see my perspective. I think my perspective is magical realism. I'm not sure, but I think it is. So let me just do I have two timers? Do I have just I do have just one. Okay. So let's just read a little bit about the techniques. I think I'm gonna do some reading of every technique, but that will be on videos. Just short videos trying to explain the styles. So let's get here the window capture. Edge, this is it. All right, this is the one. Make it bigger, stronger, harder, better. Do snapping. All right, so I'm reading. See, I don't know if you can see that. Gonna read about, oh yeah, here it is, magical realism. I think it's magical realism, describing events in a real world setting but with magical trappings, often incorporating local customs and invented beliefs. I do. Different from urban fantasy in that the magic itself is not the focus of the story. So the magic is not very focused. It is important to know how it works, how it's used, how it helps, but the focus is still the cultural virus in our story. So that's what I've been doing for the last, was it a 15-minute sprint? I think it was. How did you do? What did you do? Have you been productive? Have you written anything? Have you edited anything? So apparently it's particularly popular with Latin American authors like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Jorge Luis Borges. Elsewhere, Salman Rushdie's work provides good examples. Gonna see, but it's pretty different. I still don't know how to put the plot, since it's starting with dreams. I think I should do a prologue about the world they're living in, So the reader will know that our characters happen in a slightly different universe than ours. Well, not slightly, a whole different, but our lifestyle, our beliefs remain the same, just some huge magical power still available to enter our world and provide the apocalyptic view of the world some hope. That's what I'm trying. I don't really know. I still have to read a lot. This got pretty long. I thought it was gonna be smaller, but it took me a while. So I'm gonna read about the styles next, and hopefully by the end of this sprint is gonna be a 20-minute sprint. I've learned a lot of things here. Well, I've discovered a lot of things. Because I don't really know. I haven't had any studies in literature, and I don't know like how the plots start, how the plots are. But usually here there are a lot of a description of the plots. It's a backstory. It's a, what was interesting, and I didn't know about it, even though I think I heard about this plot. It's called Chekhov's gun, a dramatic principle that requires every element in a narrative to be irreplaceable, with anything else removed. So an example is remove everything that has no relevance to the story. If you say that in the first chapter that there is a rifle hanging on the wall, in the second or third chapter it must absolutely go off. If it's not going to be fired, it shouldn't be hanging there. Yeah, that's what I'm struggling a lot about inserting some events or describing some things, of introducing some things that are still being used. You've seen that in the whole fishing debacle, in the live streams. Creation in every possible way. That's why I'm trying to introduce some things that are required and that are used, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use the dreams, because we know some things are used in the dreams, like for example using I talked about orange, about Dayu just wanting to get an orange and didn't get one, but eventually she was in a supermarket and saw some oranges, and then watched the TV and saw some news which remembered her about her dream, made her remember her dream about oranges and what happened next, which is, I think, a pretty good setting for that orange. Even if it was a random thing, was a random thought, we do create on those, and I think that's a good way to do it. And this is a pretty It is a pretty book. I am proud of how it's shaping up to be slowly. Slowly. I've it's been already 3 months since I started it, so it took us a while. But some books take years to be created, and I feel like I've been doing it pretty good until now. If I manage to master the show and tell, I think that will increase the value of the book, the psychological value, the emotional value, the information value of it. Also the value of understanding how to write a book. That's one of the things. Also, in case you haven't backed up your work, back it up now. Back it up now, because some days I forgot to back it up, and some days my internet was not working properly, and I had a couple of scares that I've lost it or it wasn't saved properly, and you should do that. So I'm gonna do more reading. I have to do more reading here about the style and themes in these 20-minute sprints. I'm quite I wanna break the fourth wall, but differently. And probably it's not even breaking the fourth wall, but I will have to learn about that. I do enjoy breaking the fourth wall, but doing it so subtly that you realize the fourth wall is broken, but it's not literally broken. You just realize that your thoughts that you are having are being created by the story. They're not being told by the story, being accepted by the story without me describing that thing. It will be just a connection between the author and the reader, which I hope to master before I end this book. So, without further ado, I'm gonna do one last sprint of me reading of 20 minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and start and look at our story and see what things can we change there. What are the things that we can change, that we can edit little by little. That's how you do it in the editing phase. There's a lot of information that you have to get. There's a lot of information that you have to write. And that's what we're doing. We're studying, and we're also writing and editing and learning. Learning is a good thing, I think. Learning is always a good thing because it increases your possibility of producing something into this world, which is a thing that should be a concern to human beings. Other than that, you'll just have to wait for the other book. But it's just, that one is just so hard now to write, because in the beginning, right when I started it, it seemed so easy to just think you're expressing what you are trying to express, but now when I'm reading it, I can see the flaws. That's how much I've become such a big writer, because I can see the flaws in my work, and they're huge. Actually, I write pure garbage in there. It's not pure garbage. The intention is there. It's just that I can't see it anymore. I can't see it properly. yeah, it will come eventually. And I'm still figuring out if I can just tie these books into a series that is different, totally different, and it's gonna be weird. But yeah, I'm gonna do it. So should we start another sprint? I think we can start another sprint. We should be able to start another sprint. And that's what we'll do, a 20-minute sprint. That's what I'll do at least. I hope you want to be productive and you'll do a sprint with me also. Oh, my favorite timer. This is my favorite timer in the world. Because it gets me, it gets to me. That's, where is it? The timers. I need to add a more memorable name to it. It's the one that starts at 59. Oh, yes. So, yeah. Should we do it? We should do it. Let's start the sprint in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's sprint. Boom, boom, boom. It's been very productive 20 minutes. I've been doing a lot of reading, and I do need to read these a couple of times to understand them better, so I can understand the description, their names, and the definitions. Also the examples, so I can do them properly. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I do need to do this separately, and I think this is what I'll do the rest of the day today. Um, I've learned about pastiche. I don't know what it is. It's using forms and styles from another author, generally as an affectionate tribute. Yes, such as many stories featuring Sherlock Holmes, not written by Arthur Conan Doyle or much of Cthulhu mythos. So it is a tribute for the smaller writers than me, because I'm the biggest writer, in case you have forgotten. But oh yeah, this was my favorite word, the polyptoton. Words derived from the same root in a sentence. As an example, not as a call to battle, though embattled we are. John F. Kennedy, inaugural address, January 20, 1961. So, yeah, I've been reading a lot about of things. Now, these are things that normally humans normally do, but you don't describe them. You know what they kind of are. You kind of know their intention, but I did make it a point of understanding these words properly and being able to describe them, and that's what I probably do today. Some of these words, I'm gonna start with the whole list, and I think that will help me to describe the things I'm doing much better, especially in the editing phase, which has started. And that's how you do the editing phase. You need to make sure you're grounded, you're ready to get that story going, which is what my intention was after I started the story. I would say I already told myself that I will learn to do it, I will write, and then I will learn to do it through time. I will learn some things, I will know what to learn eventually, and this is the things that I'm starting to learn now. It's the times and how you describe some show and tell and these descriptions, so it could give me a better understanding of how to describe what's going on in this book, so it would have a complete story. That's my plot line now. It is also the description of the series, in which an illiterate man tries to write a book and finds out the amazing thing you can learn about writing a book and share it with others. Because you never know how to properly write a book, do you? Unless you've done a lot of research, a lot of, let's say you've been into this bubble, let's call it, in this bubble, in this field, in this niche. Unless you've been passionate about it from the start and you had the time to put that passion into reality without being distracted or without having other things to think about than just reading a book, writing a book, and doing stuff that require your attention, that require your survival. These are the best. These are the things I need to learn, because I have a vivid imagination. I do have some stories that I do wanna write because they're awesome and I wish to see them written. but I never took this as a possibility to do, you know. I always thought that if you want to write a book, you have to get into a school of literature, of letters, and I've I haven't been the shiniest rock in the pond. I don't know. I've never thought possible to actually try and do something without that you haven't done before. I started with, I've been in high school of electronics, so that means a lot of math as in mathematics and technical things, because I don't know, my grades just allowed me to go there. I couldn't enter anywhere else where there is no math and where you can talk about stories and stuff. So it took me a while to realize that you can actually just move into something and be into something without having to go your whole life into that direction because you didn't know about other directions, because you're busy surviving or doing what the others do. I don't know, integrating. But yeah, I think that's how I'll end this stream. I'm not gonna write today. I'm gonna focus the rest of the day to just understanding this better until I know some of the words here. I'm not gonna do it all. I don't think I can learn this all in one day, but hopefully I will. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. And what do they call these pieces of information I provided you today with? And I hope you've been productive. Have you been productive today? Have you done something during the streams? I know what I did. And now I have to eat, and I should do a eating schedule also. But other than that, it was a good day. It was a good day. It rained and it didn't get under my skin. Well, I woke up later than usual, but other than that, I had enough energy and I was not distracted enough to understand that there are so many things, and I know there are so many things that I have to learn about, that I have to implement into my work, and somehow the reader should be able to understand the implementation, because there are a lot of hidden things that most people do not see in this book, and I'm trying as much as possible to make it as accurate as possible to reveal those things. And yeah, it is a hard book, I think, to write, at least. To read, for now, it's just confusing. But yeah, that's the step of becoming a writer. You don't write something and you expect it to be awesome in the first time without any previous things. You don't just start writing unless you're already popular and you pay someone to write it, and yeah, then you sell it and you're a millionaire because you're popular, not because you wrote a book. Yeah, I think that's what I'll end today as a thought. Sometimes the story does need the work, even if it's unappreciated or probably appreciated. But we'll see. the more work I put into this, the more appreciation I have for it. So I think that's what writing a book is. Putting your soul into it. Now, yes, I'll just end the stream. We had enough for today. I'm trying to do this to have a better, to decrease the time we will need to have on editing it, because we know this will be a 2, 3, 4, 5 times process until we'll completely happy about what's going on, about how the book is. So without further ado, I'm gonna search for a song to let you go, and we will see you tomorrow. I'm not sure of the hour yet. I don't know if I do want to schedule it. I'm trying to keep it in the time frame of 2, maximum of 3 hours, which is why I'm ending this stream, because if I'm gonna do something else, it's gonna be taking me more than half an hour, and then we're gonna pass the 3-hour stream, which is not something I want to do yet. I'm just trying to make this time to do the whole thing that we need to. So I'm gonna end with a video called Pretty Boy, which describes me perfectly, doesn't it? Yes, because I am also the prettiest boy ever. I don't think that's a compliment, is it? Who knows? I am the prettiest boy. So thank you very much for joining. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. It will help me a lot. I do hope you have a productive rest of the day. And a rest of the week. I hope you'll swing by soon enough. And I hope you'll swing by again. And we're gonna have this process of writing a book nailed down by the end of the year, by 13th of November. There is still a couple of months to go. And by that time, we should already be published. So we're gonna describe after that how to write a book, don't we? So about that, I wish you have a great day. I wish you have a great evening. This was Dick Moonstruck on Road to Writer. Hope everything will go away and the sun will shine in your life. So have a great day. The stream is now ending.